Rusame reader, Crowsong! And today I will be reading to you from Black Coffee by MysterySaviour. Now, on to Act 2, Chapter 32. I'm going to be honest. This is not how I thought I would die again. Again? What do you mean, again? I've been dead inside for years. America chuckled under his breath. Haven't we all? Every car had regrouped at the last gas station for a pit stop, and God was Nazi mad. Australia had taken the opportunity to fill each car up, and Poland and Germany were happily reunited and talking. Poland complaining about how he wished Germany was in the car with him, and sympathizing with how anxious he must have felt, which made Germany blush, as usual. However, the rest of the group of the two families were mashed up awkwardly and standing around as he yelled at Russia for a good 10 minutes, and without the help of USSR, would still be going off at them. Honestly, Soviet, I am up to here with that boy. USSR barely held back a snort. Barely off the ground. I'm not a boy, I'm an adult, Russia muttered under his breath, crossing his arms. Nazi ignored his husband's short joke towards him. He had gotten used to it after being married to someone so tall for so many years, and glared at his stepson. An adult would have some common sense and not say such crude things in front of a child. You are barely more than a 5-year-old. Nazi growled, his voice threateningly deep. Russia gulped and looked away from the shorter man than himself, his chin pointing to the floor and his arms falling to his sides. Don't go skulking to me, young man, Third Reich scoffed, crossing his red arms and tapping his foot at an ungodly speed to alleviate some of his frustration. That is unacceptable behavior. With all due respect, sir, you've said that repeatedly to him. I think he's got it through his thick skull by now. America spoke up to defend Russia, earning the slightest of smiles from his tall friend. Morningstar raised an eyebrow at him, shaking her head as she sighed. Oh, you fucked up now. Never get between a mother and her disciplining her children. You're not helping. I'm not here to help. I'm here to haunt. Morning snorted, poking her tongue out at America, who used all of his strength not to poke his tongue back out in retaliation. Instead, he rolled his eyes and frowned ever so slightly, silently cursing whoever the fuck gave him such a person that he couldn't outwardly talk to. Last time I called you a ghost, you shouted, "Can a ghost do this?" at the top of your lungs, then proceeded to trick my brain into thinking it was high. Morning chuckled, resting her arm on his shoulder with a happy sigh. Good times. Thick skull is right, Nazi groaned inwardly, rubbing the bridge of his nose with his thumb and forefinger. But fine, I'll drop it. Although, Russia, you are banned from drinking vodka for a week. Morningstar's eyebrows raised. I stand corrected. How the fuck did you do that? America fought back the urge to look smug. Practice, young Padawan, practice. fight me! Russia's jaw dropped, and he whipped his head towards his father, who was looking equally shocked. He can do that? USSR shrugged, smiling nervously. He can do anything. He's ruthless. Nazi giggled, smacking Soviet's shoulder. Oh, hush you. Russia just gaped at them as they walked away, barely able to stop himself from crying. No vodka for a whole week. 7 days, 168 hours, 10,080 minutes, 604,800 seconds. Russia's lip quivered as everyone began to pile into their cars, deciding to rearrange the seating decisions a bit to more suit them, as the original plan made by Britain and Soviet in order to mix it up a bit. But pretty much everyone was miserable, so that wasn't happening again. The new plan was to have Poland and Germany in the 2 extra seats in Britain and France's minivan, which meant there was space between Ukraine and Canada. New Zealand and Belarus decided to join their siblings in the Nazi and Soviet car, which had lovingly been nicknamed the non-aggression car, when they're not listening, of course, since they wanted to give Russia and America some alone time. There, don't worry. America patted Russia's back, leading him to the car and opening the door for him so he could collapse into the passenger seat. They had planned on switching out, but Russia didn't seem to be in the right state of mind to drive a giant metal killing machine. Don't cry, Russia cried, curling into himself. I can't live without my vodka. Maybe this is a good thing, America explained, grunting at the end of his sentence as he climbed into the car on the other side. All that vodka was so bad for you. I'm surprised you're still alive. Russia just whimpered. The car had become unnaturally quiet after Poland, New Zealand, and Belarus had relocated themselves into the other cars. The only person America had to talk to was Morning, but she was too busy trying to balance herself on the bonnet to actually talk to him. You know, Nazi just said no vodka, not no alcohol. Russia thought about it some more and smiled slightly. Thanks, Mary. Then he frowned. But vodka's still my favorite. America shrugged. And Scotch is mine, but to each their own. Scotch? Russia scoffed. That's nothing compared to the beautiful, refreshing burn of an ice-cold bottle of Smirnoff. I thought you drank Absolute? Russia pushed his nose in the air snootily, crossing his arms as he tried not to laugh from how dumb he was being. Absolute is not Russian. Russian is the best. America smirked. Is that so? I know that look. What are you planning in that evil little head of yours? Russia asked warily, watching America carefully as he kept his eyes on the road. Get my phone. Russia raised an eyebrow. Why? Just do it. Russia hesitated. Was this a trap? Maybe, but he did it anyway, and looked to America once the password screen flitted up. What's your password? Oh, it's 787742. Russia paused, thinking about that number. It didn't really make any sense. That's just a bunch of random numbers, though. America swallowed, his cheeks flushing as he laughed nervously, which made Russia more confused. Yeah, random. Sure enough, it worked, and Russia had access to everything on America's phone. His social media, his camera, his contacts, his gallery, his search history, his bank account, his high score on Subway Surfers, everything. Russia imagined what he could do with this power. Hell, he could destroy the world if he wanted. Maybe set every nuke America had on the path to countries he didn't like Iran or something, and cause a huge war. What would a war like that even be like? A world war? Russia shuddered. He didn't even want to think about it. It was amazing America trusted him this much. Or maybe he was just stupid. Okay, now go on my Instagram and put up a poll on my story for Smirnoff versus Absolute. Let's see what we get. Russia did just that and put the phone down again. He needed to stop himself from doing anything he might regret, like looking at his contact name. It was probably something like commie asshole or something, knowing America. They spent the rest of the hours in the car playing games, chatting, laughing, and teasing each other. They switched driving a few times in order not to fall asleep on the wheel. Speaking of which, America was put out cold in the passenger seat, laying his head on Russia's shoulder because he claimed it was more comfortable than the window, which Russia didn't doubt. He didn't really mind either. Nor did Russia mind when America fell into his lap and snuggled into his leg, although his face did start to get unusually hot. Maybe he was coming down with a fever? Russia took his foot off the accelerator and eased on the brake as he neared a parking spot. Everyone had agreed to stop at the grocery store to stock up before they got to the house. They were just about to arrive anyway. Russia remembered the poll he had set up and grabbed America's phone, trying not to move too much as to not disturb his slumbering friend, who groaned anyway and buried his face into Russia's pelvis, which made his face heat up even more. He took off his Ushanka and gently placed it over America's face in order to have him not do certain things. Although, who's to say he hasn't already? Russia punched in the passcode, honestly surprised he still remembered it, and opened Instagram, checking the poll. 49% Smirnoff, 51% Absolute. Stozayzhena. The Russian roughly translates to, what the fuck? And that's the end of this chapter. I hope you enjoyed. Anyway, I'd like to invite you to join the Discord, which is linked down in the description below. That being said, I hope you have a nice rest of your day, night, or whatever it is for you. Just enjoy your time, and I will see